Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for joining us. As the world grows darker and we're heading toward World War III, there's certainly going to be some things that you wish you had stockpiled when crap hits the fan. And there's so many different things, by the way. It's very cloudy and convoluted as far as what you should have. Now, when it comes to preparedness, I like to keep things very much on the basic level, level-headed so you can understand what's going on. And with that, there are 30 different categories of items that you're going to want to stockpile, 30 different things. And I feel if you actually just focus on each little thing as you go through it, it makes prepping so much easier. Now, I'm going to start off with some of the basic ones, of course, but as we go, as you're going to see toward the end, there's some ones you probably didn't hear of or think about, and you're certainly going to want to pay attention to and be ready for that day. Number one, water. And of course, we'll talk about each category further. We've mentioned before, at least 1 gallon per person per day, but we'll make separate videos about all of these categories too. Number two, food. Lots of ready-to-eat food, like canned food, for example, but we'll go through more. Number three, self-reliance, or a lot of people call it homesteading, hunting, fishing, gardening, foraging, making your own gear and supplies. Number four, food preservation, dehydrating, canning, freeze-drying. Even your fridge and freezer qualify for this. Number five, animals. They provide for you, so of course you have to provide for them. You have to consider their needs, including food too. Number six, cooking. Electricity, propane may all disappear, so you have to find a way to be able to cook and prepare your food. With that, number seven, fuel. Boy, the list goes on and on for this one. Gas, propane, butane, wood, kerosene, so many different fuels for cooking and other things too. Not to mention we have to be able to know how to light a fire and be able to keep warm. Obviously very important. Number eight, shelter. If you're sheltering in place, bugging in, your house is your shelter. But even then, if you don't have any heat, you need shelter like a tent, for example. Not to mention a tent if you do have to bug out. Number nine, climate control. In other words, dress for preparedness. Doesn't matter if it's cool outside, cold outside, warm outside, you want to be dressed appropriately so you do not succumb to the elements. Number 10, personal maintenance. You have to take care of yourself. Hygiene products, feminine hygiene products, all your clothes, socks, gear, etc. And don't forget babies and children. Number 11, one of my favorites, health and fitness. Even if you end up bugging in, it's going to be very difficult on your body, so you have to be ready for this. Number 12, medical. This is a huge category. Everything from basic wound dressing, advanced wound dressing, antibiotics, drugs, masks, even dental too. Number 13, light. Even if it's just an emergency, you want to be able to have some light at night so you can navigate around. 14, electricity. Obviously having things for light and other stuff too. Batteries, rechargeable stuff, solar generators, a gas or propane generator outside. 15, defense. Be able to take care of you and your family. That simply includes security, but obviously goes on for martial arts, weapons, even cleaning your weapons, body armor. And 16, cleaning overall. Disinfection, be able to make sure you stay safe in case there's some cooties running around. How to use different things instead of just regular cleaners, including like liquor, for example. 17, maintenance and tools. This could be huge. Obviously you want to have everything you need, but even some basic stuff like rope, tarps, wood, etc. 18, family information. This is often overlooked when we're talking about documents, be able to keep track of everything about you and your family, not to mention medical records too. 19, caring for family. We often think about ourselves, but what about children? What about babies? What about elderly? What about people who are physically handicapped in your family? There are lots of special circumstances. 20, reference materials. Our internet may not be around. You may not have electricity to access the internet. So having lots of reference materials, aka lots of books and such to be able to reference. 21, entertainment. This is huge, by the way, but you have to have a way to diffuse and be able to relax in these trying times. 22, community. This is a big one too. You can't do everything on your own. You need to be able to rely on the skills of one another. Not to mention, there are safety in numbers, and having a prepping group helping each other out is huge. 23, also often overlooked, intelligence. Gathering information, knowing exactly what's happening, and mastering the art of situational awareness and deception. 24, going through individual scenarios, and there's so many of these also. You name it, EMPs, nuclear, natural disaster, economic collapse, power grid collapse. And with that, 25, drills and training. You need to establish standard operating procedures in your home and practice, practice, practice. Also, going along with that, number 26, plans of attack. What are you going to do if you need to bug out? What are you going to do if somebody tries to come in your house? This goes along with the drills, but you need to have plans to be able to handle every one of these situations. 27, bags and kits. Not to mention putting together, obviously, medical kits, but what about a bug out bag? You know, you may have to bug out if your house may burn down. What about a get home bag to get home with a natural disaster? And of course, that falls in line with 28, transportation. Most people simply use their 2 feet or their car, but we can go into bicycles, even electric bikes too. 29, with your community, bartering items. We want to be able to obtain the things we need after crap hits the fan, and cash very well may not be present. And finally, 30, also with your community, you need to have communication. Establish a communication plan now with your community, CBs, walkie-talkies, possibly even ham radios or shortwave too. So there we go. There's 30 different things you're going to want to stockpile and prepare. Now, I put it in categories. I would ask you to probably put it in a binder, have 30 different tabs in there, 30 different sections so you can keep track and make sure you're not without. But you know what? Of course, even 30 different categories, what would you add to the list? Or even more so, what would you go into detail about each specific category? Because guaranteed, as we get back to more fundamentals with Goshen Prepping, we're going to go through each category in more detail so we're all prepared for that day. Thanks for watching.